Hey, I'm Jakira Black and I'm doing the Authortube Newbie Tag today. So, this was first done by Jenna the Dark One, and I will put a link to her original video down below. So, question 1. How did you find out about Authortube? How did I find about it? I think, I'm not sure if it was Authortube as much, but the first author YouTube videos I came across was by Jenna Moresi, and I've not actually watched any of hers recently, and I really need to get back to watching them, and I will put a link to her channel. I really enjoy her videos. They are very informative and helpful for writers. I think I heard of BookTube first, because obviously I do BookTube videos as well, and then I think I looked for groups on Facebook, and I found one for Authortube, so I joined that, and there's some authors on that and they're posting, and one of them had posted this tag video, well, not this one, obviously her own. So that's really how I found out about Authortube, just sort of around the way, and I've obviously been doing author related videos for quite some time. Right, so question 2, what genre, which I can never say, I'm atrocious at saying some words, do you write in? Okay, I tend to write the sort of books that I like to read. So I like historical books, I like dystopian futuristic books, I like science fiction and fantasy, I like psychological books. So I tend to write those sort of stories. For instance, for an assignment for my master's that I completed not long ago, I wrote a historical short story about a girl in Italy during Christian persecution, and her going to the arena and having to sort of like deny Christ or not deny Christ and die. So that's historical. I've wrote a series of novels that I really need to work on, that's based on the biblical tale of Noah's Ark, but instead of rain, the flood is an invasion of aliens. So obviously science fiction. Fantasy, I probably do, but I can't think of anything at the moment. Futuristic dystopian, I actually, in 2015 I started writing a novel called Star Wrecked, and I've been working on the first chapter of that to do as my end of module assignment for my masters for this year. And that is, like I said, it's dystopian, futuristic. I'm not going to give much more about that away because it's still at the very early stages. So yeah. So what is your preferred writing tense, POV and category? Right, I tend to write young adult novels, but I suppose, you know, I mean, I have been writing young adults, science fiction ones mainly, futuristic, like I said. But yeah, YA tends to be the thing that I go for. But that doesn't mean that in the future that I won't go for a more adult audience and reader. My preferred writing tense at the moment is first person, but this assignment that's going to be the first chapter of Star Wrecked, I am writing it in third person with a omniscient, can't say that word either, narrator and a variable narrative distance. And point of view, that story that I've just said about is in past tense because it just feels right for doing it in third person. When I write in first person, I tend to use present tense. Okay, so question 4. Are you a plotter, a pantser, or a plantser? So obviously a plotter plots, a pantser pants, writes by the seat of their pants, and a plantser is somewhere in between. Now, initially when I started writing in 2008, I pantsed. I had no idea how my story was going to end. I just started writing. I did maybe some character free writes about my cat, you know, who they were. But that was it. I just wrote, and then I started planning a little bit more. I tend to use Dan Wells' 7-point writing techniques, which are obviously hook, plot twist 1, pinch 1, midpoint, pinch 2, plot twist 2, and resolution. So I tend to loosely plot along that. I usually now know how a novel is going to end and what's going to happen sort of loosely in each of those 7 sections. I usually do 3 or 4 chapters for each section and know loosely what's going to happen. But the thing is, I leave a lot of freedom for myself to write whatever comes into my mind, because I am a great believer that, you know, if you let your creativity win, then you're going to come up with some really nice and amazing things. So I would say that I'm a plantser. I'm a combination of the two. Question 5. Are you published, self-published, or yet to be published? I am yet to be published. I do have a short story in an ebook that me and my writers group put together. But apart from that, I am not published as yet because I need to edit. What publishing company, question 6, what publishing company, literary agent, printing company are you represented by? Or would you like to be represented by? Well, obviously I'm not represented by any of them because I've not sent anything into them. As to who I would like to be represented by, whoever will have me. I do like Chicken House, which is obviously a publisher like Ink Heart came from Chicken House. Quite a lot of really quirky books come from Chicken House, and I do tend to write quite quirky stories, so I do like Chicken House, but I don't care. All I care about is that I make my books as edited as possible and that I get the support to make them as as really as good as possible, and that I get my books out there on shelves and that people read them and enjoy them. I'm not bothered about making a lot of money. I'm just bothered about, I don't know, I think it's that I like the idea that my voice is going to live on beyond me. So yeah, an agent, yeah, Jacqueline Wilson's agent would be quite cool, but I don't care. I don't care about printing company. I don't really care because one, I'm not really quite at that stage yet. And 2, if I've got preferences and someone else offers, then they might see this video and think, oh no, she doesn't want us, so we're not gonna. So if you want to represent me, then I am very, very interested. Okay, so number 7. What author-related videos can we expect to see on your channel? Right, so obviously I have done quite a few already. I did about strange habits that writers have. I did a YouTube video about portals. I did another one about writer's block. I've been doing chapter by chapter of a creative writing book and my thoughts. So who knows? I am actually about to record, once I finish this one, a video about critiquing your story and someone else's story. I would have said in one of the videos I've done recently that I would like to explore proportion in fiction, and do maybe a video about that. I think as well that I really need to start doing some sort of progress videos for my own writing as well. So yeah, I think I'm going to start doing that. Probably month by month I will do a progress video of what I have written, and if I haven't written anything, I will admit that I've not written anything. But I do read a lot, and as far as I'm concerned, reading is part of the package of writing, because to be a writer you need to be a reader, and it recharges our literary batteries. So maybe at the moment I'm, we're doing the masters and writing for that, maybe I'm just at the stage where I just need to recharge my literary batteries a lot. So, but yeah, I'm going to do progress videos, I think, once a month about how I've been doing with writing, and maybe that will make me a little bit more sort of forceful to myself to make myself write when I don't really want to. When did you start writing? I started writing in March 2008. Seriously. I started writing fan fiction first of all. I had wrote a few little stories beforehand. My mum is a writer, so obviously her influence, it was something that I was always going to do. But I had young kids, and now they're older. So, yeah, in 2008, I started writing fan fiction, and then by November 2008, I started doing National Novel Writing Month, which I've done every year since, and won every year since. And I've done Camp Nano quite a few times and won that too. So, yeah. 9. What was the first story you ever wrote? Right. I haven't got this. I just remember writing it. I remember when I was about 9 years old writing a Famous 5 story about the Famous 5 meeting this girl whose big sister bullied her all the time. And then I do remember my sister getting quite upset because she read it and she said, "Is this about me?" And because she did actually bully me, it was about her. But I was too scared to tell her that it was, and I said no. And then I got rid of it, and I didn't write again for a long time, except for school, because, yeah. So, question 10, what authors have inspired your writing the most? Enid Blyton, for definite, because Enid Blyton made me a reader. I do remember when I first read an Enid Blyton book, or a book totally on my own, and I was about 9 as well. I was probably about 10 for that short story, or 11, that story I wrote. But anyway, I was about 9, sat in the toy cupboard under the stairs, as you do. It did have a window, so it wasn't like I was sat in the dark. And my mum had thrown some books in there as well, which isn't a very good thing to do, especially for someone that's an author and a big reader. And to throw books into a cupboard of toys is not ideal. They should be on a bookshelf. So, Mother, if you're watching this, you were very naughty. But the thing is, I remember sitting there and trying to read the first famous 5, book 5 on Treasure Island, and I couldn't get into it. I couldn't. I think I possibly had tried before, but I couldn't get into it. And then I decided to start reading halfway through, and it worked. Apart from the fact that I got really, really confused about why a boy called Timmy was running around a trapdoor excitedly, because I didn't realise that Timmy was a dog. Other authors that have influenced me, definitely Jean M. Yule, the writer behind the Earth Children series. She needed a drink because my throat was going. The Earth Children series is based around a girl called Ayla, who it's set in the Ice Age, and she's adopted by Neanderthals after her parents die. So I love that series. It is definitely my favourite book series of all, and they are all behind it. And I have reread the first one this year, and I do intend to read at least one more this year, possibly more. And definitely she did, because it was by reading Earth Children fan fiction that I decided that I wanted to have a go. So it was actually Earth Children fan fiction that I started writing, and if you look for me online under Jakira on fanfiction.net, you will find it all. So yeah. Other authors that have influenced me, I don't know really. I mean, I've got favourite books, like I love The Hunger Games. Maybe what's she called? I can't remember what she's called. Pamela Sargent. Now, I read a long time ago a book which I reread last year, called Shore of Women by her. And she's a feminist writer. I don't know if she's still alive. I think she probably is. And that was like the first sort of dystopian novel, sort of survival, that I read, and I really, really liked it. So she's definitely influenced me. Yeah, there's probably quite a few, but the main ones are Enid Blyton and Jean M. Yule. This video is going a long time, isn't it? Where was I? Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply write when you find the time? Like I said, I think I'm going to start doing writing videos about how I'm getting on, because, like, you know, I've not been writing enough. So that would be, do you write on a laptop, typewriter, write anything by hand, or a blend of them? Where do you write in general? I tend to write here or in my bed. I tend to use my laptop. I will use my Kindle because I've got a Bluetooth keyboard for it, so I will use that as well. I do write notes in a notebook. I don't use a typewriter. I do sometimes, and I've not been doing it as much recently, but I do sometimes go to some of the libraries in Blackpool and sit and just write there, because, you know, just concentrate. And also I meet up with friends. Last few times we've met up, we've barely wrote, we've just talked mostly, but definitely during National Novel Writing Month I meet up with friends and we write together, you know, sort of writing and sort of like just chatting about how our stories are going and everything, and just sort of, yeah, it's just nice. So number 13, what are you most looking forward to now you are a part of Authortube? It would be great to make more friends that are authors. I do have quite a few through NaNoWriMo and through my region, because I'm the municipal liaison for Blackpool region. I also run a writers group in Blackpool, so I meet people through that. I also meet people on my masters. But you know, author friends are always welcome. I would like subscribers, because I am trying to build myself as a brand, because when I do get around to editing, which I do hope to do in the summer, hopefully, I just think that I might be an attractive, can't think of the word, but might be attractive to an agent and publisher, you know, if, you know, I am a brand and, you know, I'm out there. I have got over 1k Twitter followers now, but I am trying to build up on YouTube as well. So yeah, but yeah, mainly just friends and sort of like, you know, learning more about writing and helping others learn about writing, encouraging others, them encouraging me, and yeah. So that's the tag done, and it's over 21 minutes, and I've talked for a long time, and I like talking, as you can probably guess. So maybe I should go. Bye.